Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, as you can see, I have no eye makeup on. It's all just skin because, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be showing you the kind of full coverage foundation, highlighting and contouring routine that I do. This is not everyday makeup. This is the makeup I would wear for before I go out or something like that, when I want my skin to look the best that it possibly can, and kind of to achieve that I wear more makeup than I usually would on a day-to-day. Feel free to kind of swap out products or whatever, use whatever product works best for you. I do give a few tips and advice throughout this video and some kind of cheaper alternatives if I'm using a product that might be slightly more expensive, or the other way around, if I'm using a product that you can get from like Boots or Superdrug or your drugstore, I give you a high-end dupe for that too. So hopefully I'm accommodating for everyone. I understand this is a lot of makeup, so you don't need to tell me that, I am aware. But it's just what makes me feel comfortable, so just do you. But yeah, so if you want to see how I achieve my kind of full coverage foundation routine, then keep watching. So as you guys know, before I do my foundation, I always do my eyebrows first. I don't know what it is, I just prefer to kind of draw my eyebrows on to clean skin. So to do that, I used my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, but the Soap and Glory Brow Archery Pencil in Hot Chocolate is basically like a dupe for this if you wanted a cheaper alternative. So if I know if I'm going on a night out and I'm going to be applying a lot of skin makeup, I always make sure to prep my skin and take a time prepping my skin, because I feel like that's really important, and I feel if you don't prep your skin enough, then the foundation's not going to look the best that you want it to. The first step I always do is moisturize. So as you guys saw for my skincare routine, I like to use the OLAY 2-in-1 moisturiser just to prep my skin. I feel like you shouldn't go too heavy with moisturiser, just because depending on how heavy duty your moisturiser is, this one's quite lightweight, so I can be quite generous with it, but the more heavy duty your moisturiser is, the more the product's going to slip and slide around your face, so you almost want to apply a decent amount but not too much that nothing's going to sit on top of it. Then, as always again, I like to use my MAC Fix Plus just to really hydrate my skin. A lot of people think that this is like a primer, and technically in this case I am going to be using it like a primer, but Fix Plus just kind of implies that it's not going to fix your makeup and it's not a setting spray, it's just kind of like a hydrating mist. So that's why I use it before I put foundation on, and also why people apply it after they put foundation on, because once you've put loads of powder and stuff on your face can feel quite dry, and this is just going to add moisture back into your face, and that's why it's called like a fixing spray, because it gets rid of the kind of powdered effect. That's why I like to use it before and after my foundation. I've got kind of normal skin, I don't really need to have a primer as well, so I'm kind of using this as a primer, a hydrating primer. I just kind of like to speed up the process and just fan my face so my face absorbs it really quickly. So this was a tip that I actually saw Kylie Jenner's makeup artist use on her, basically taking a cream highlighter. This is the Sleek Bare Kissed Illuminator in Monaco, so it's kind of like a pearl coloured highlighter. I've got one from NARS as well, the Copacabana one, I think it's called, is a kind of high-end dupe, so this is the cheap alternative to that one, and just take a small pump of that on the back of my hand, and then with just a synthetic foundation brush, just kind of applying it where you would apply like a powder highlighter on top of your foundation. So this is just going to give you that kind of strobing glow from within, underneath your skin type look. So I'm just applying that to the tops of my cheekbones, above my brow, down the bridge of my nose, Cupid's bow, just like that, and then again on the other side. I can do an everyday foundation routine, so let me know in the comments if you guys would like to see that one. This is like a full coverage, that's why there's going to be a lot of products and a lot of makeup, but I'm not using a huge amount of each product, so I feel like layering in small amounts but a good few products is the way that I achieve my skin to look the best for going out and what makes it last the longest. So my two favourites are the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation and the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Stick. I don't know what it is about the stick formulation, I just feel like it gives a much better coverage than the fluid. Both of them I prefer over the original Makeup Forever HD foundation. I think the Ultra HD is a lot better, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, these two are my favourites. I'm going to be using the stick today. As per usual, my neck is a lot darker than my face, so when I apply this to my skin, if you think it looks really dark, it is to colour match. I always see comments on all my old videos telling me that my foundation is way too dark, but honestly I would look so much more ridiculous if I almost look ridiculous now, like if I had a really pale face and a tanned neck. It's just because I exfoliate my face a lot more so the tan comes off. But yeah, so to apply this I just do kind of 2 strokes there, 2 strokes there, 1, 2, and I think what it is about the stick formulation that I like a bit more is that it's really not applied a much, and a little goes a long way with this foundation. Like, you may think that what I've done is like loads of makeup and stuff, but it's honestly really thin on my face, so it just travels a long way, which is why I like it. And I've used that so much, and I'm barely close to running out of it. And to blend that in, I either use a foundation brush or a beauty blender. Today I'm going to be using a foundation brush, and the one I'm literally in love with is the Tom Ford Cream Foundation Brush. I know this is an expensive foundation brush, so I don't expect you guys to have it or to use it, but if you're lucky enough to have your hands on it, you'll know it's amazing. My friend Amber used this for me on my prom makeup, and this in combination with either of these two foundation is like a match made in heaven. I'm literally in love with this brush. It's the 02 Cream Foundation Brush from Tom Ford. So I'm just gonna blend that into my skin. Kind of using that circular buffing motion, even though this one doesn't have like a flat top or anything like that. I feel that motion just works the best. Always make sure to blend down onto your neck. Obviously for me that's a crucial step. Moving on to concealer, I really love the Maybelline Age Rewind. This is the one that I use to conceal with, not to highlight. Mine's in the shade Light, so it does a bit of highlighting, but I more use this, which is the Velvet 59 Contour is a Girl's Best Friend palette, and use this shade here to do the highlighting. So I layer under my eyes when I'm going out and I want that really highlighted effect. So just going in, this one works in like a twisty way, and concentrating this in like an upside down triangle on my chin like that, around my mouth where I have a few little blemishes, forehead, down my nose, and my cupid's bow as well. And then taking this palette here, this really small synthetic foundation brush from Crown, just taking that really pale shade and placing this just under my eyes, like so, and then taking a damp beauty blender to blend this out. I wouldn't recommend a brush if you're going to be layering products, because what the best thing about a beauty blender is, and why it's so popular and everyone loves it, is because it absorbs excess product, so it almost doesn't let you apply too much. And that's why when you guys think I'm applying way too much stuff, honestly in real life it's really thin on my face and I don't feel caked because of this beauty blender. So I'm just going to be blending that in. Before applying any powder, if you're more of a powder contour person, then go ahead and powder your highlighted areas now, but I much prefer the appearance of cream contours on the skin. I think you can blend it a lot more naturally. The colour's a bit more natural, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Taking this palette again from Velvet 59 and taking a mixture between these two shades. I know that looks really dark, but I'll soon show you. So to apply this, I'm taking this Morphe G7 brush. It's basically a really tiny synthetic brush, I'm just taking minimal of each of these. You kind of want to go from the top of your ear down and not really any past your eyebrow or your eye. Like so. Then I take it on the top of my forehead, not adding any excess product, just whatever was left on the brush, like so. My jawline as well. And this was another tip that I picked up from Kylie Jenner's makeup artist, taking a light cream bronzing product to blend that out. So the two that I have is the Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel, and the kind of drugstore alternative, which is basically exactly the same, is the Bourjois bronzing primer. I'm just going to be using the Chanel one for the purpose of the fact that I have it and I want to use it. So taking again this Crown brush, which is basically like the MAC 130 foundation brush or something like that, basically a short stumpy duo fibre foundation brush, just swirling it around and buffing the product upwards. You don't want to drag it down because that's when your face starts to sink. You want to drag it upwards, buff it, or like buff it upwards to kind of lift your face and give you the appearance of more deep set cheekbones. Then this is an optional step. I just like to take my beauty blender from before and use the kind of not pointy side, the rounded side, and just press everything into my skin and make sure it's all that one layer and it's all like any excess product has been absorbed, so I'm kind of got as minimal product on my face as possible after just applying lots of product, if that makes any sense. So because that's all the creams I'm using, I'm now safe to kind of set my face with all the powders that I'm going to be using. So for under my eyes, I'm going to be using the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in the shade Diffused Light. Again, my friend Amber introduced me to this when she did my prom makeup, and I just thought it was the most gorgeous under eye setting powder ever. It brightens, it gives you that really, like the name, like diffused light finish, and it just looks so amazing. But obviously an alternative you could use is this translucent powder from MUFE Cosmetics, and it says translucent mineral powder, but it's in the shade Nude, and this has the kind of same exact colouring and finish as the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. Pretty sure it's like half the price, the difference being it's just a loose powder, so just be careful if you do get this, because loose powders apply a bit heavier if you're not careful, so just make sure to tap off the excess. So to apply this, I'm using my Sigma tapered highlighting brush. This is like my favourite brush ever for applying anything under the eye. The tapered top just fits perfectly under your eyes, and yeah, I just love it. You can just see how much it brightens up under the eye, and also in photos you don't get that flashback, and that's like the best thing ever. I do switch up though between this and the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, just because the translucent one's a lot better if you've got oilier skin, and I don't have oily skin or anything, but sometimes if I want that matte look, then I'll go for that one. And to set the rest of my face, I'm just taking this Rimmel Clear Complexion translucent powder, just because I don't want to add any more coverage. I just kind of want to set everything that I've placed down, and I'm using the Sigma tapered face brush to do this. Then to kind of emphasize the contour that we made, I'm going to take my MAC Give Me Sun bronzer on a Zoeva Luxe Cheek Finish brush, and basically just place that on top of where we put the cream product. Basically, just like how we set the highlighter in place, this is just going to set the cream bronzer in place, but I'm going to be quite sparingly with this because obviously we've already bronzed and stuff like that, so I don't want to look too intense. Last but not least, highlighting the cheekbones, I'm going to be taking this Kiko eyeshadow in the number 208, which is basically your classic MAC Whisperer's Gilt, Laura Geller Gilded, oh, for God's sake, Laura Geller Gilded Honey, Anastasia Beverly Hills So Hollywood, and it's like a quarter of the price, so I thought I would use this. And this is kind of like a trusty highlighter that I know is always going to look really good, so on a night out I love using this one. And to apply, I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills highlighting brush. Then the final step, I'm going to be taking my Mario Badescu Rose Water Spray just to set everything in place. Oh my god, it smells like, what's that stuff called? That sweet that's covered in icing sugar and it's like jelly. But yeah, that is everything that I do in terms of skin wise before going on a night out in terms of my full coverage foundation, highlights and contour routine. So give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and want to see kind of more routine type videos, or like an everyday foundation routine or something like that. I'm going to be doing a bit of pre-filming for when I go to America. It's only for a few days, but the few days I'm away would be the few days that I would upload anyway, so I need some ideas for then. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Leary and on Twitter at rach_Leary, and until next time, I'll see you soon.